Every passing day, we are getting close to the regular season. The free agency period is shrinking, and draft is just a month away. This is the time when rumors speak louder. And now I am here to discuss Zion Johnson. There's some buzz that this dude might get traded before the season kicks off. A few teams out there could use a solid guard. Honestly, more than a few. And depending on how the draft shakes out, Zion Johnson could be on the move. So we've got a lot to chew on here. It's going to be a good one, so let's jump right in and break it down. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Look, we've seen some moves already. Signed Mekhi Becton, brought in Andre James. Then there's Zion Johnson, number 77. So here's the thing. He might not be sticking with the Chargers next season. I'm going to lay out why that could be. There's been a handful of articles popping up lately saying he's trade bait. Now, Andre James, he's probably locking down center over Bradley Bozeman, number 75. And we're swapping out Trey Pipkins. Jamari Sawyer is the backup right guard with Mekhi Becton stepping in. So, let's talk about where Zion Johnson could land. I've got some thoughts on which teams might want him, why it could happen, or why it might not. The draft and training camp are going to tell us a lot about whether this guy's packing his bags or staying put. It's definitely a good problem to have so much depth in key positions. Let's be clear about that. When you're in a situation where other teams can look at the Chargers and say, hey, we need your guy, it's a great spot to be in. And if those teams are competitive and in need of a standout offensive lineman like Zion Johnson, the Chargers can make them pay a premium, maybe a fourth-round pick or better. That's the advantage of having depth, and it puts the Chargers in an excellent position strategically. Zion Johnson was a first-round pick and an impressive athlete. He's incredibly strong and fit. He doesn't even look like the typical offensive lineman. Think about it. Most linemen carry that classic big gut build, but Zion breaks that mold. He's athletic, fast, and has a build that makes you think he could thrive in multiple roles, including center, which is why I liked him as a potential fit there. But let's get into the teams that might be interested in Zion Johnson. The Cincinnati Bengals stand out as a team that could use someone like him. However, there are challenges and considerations when it comes to the Bengals. We all know the Bengals have invested heavily in their offense, and it's all about keeping Joe Burrow healthy. They've got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and even Mike Gesicki with his extension, so Burrow has the weapons he needs. But the key issue is protecting him, and their guard play has been among the worst in the league. Bringing in someone like Zion Johnson would be a huge upgrade for them. As for what they'd be willing to give up, it's hard to say for sure, but the general speculation seems to point toward a fourth-round pick. We'll see how that unfolds. Another team that could make sense is the New Orleans Saints. With Derek Carr coming back for another season, they've got Kellen Moore, who knows Zion Johnson very well. That familiarity could play a role if Moore wants to bring in someone he trusts to help protect Carr. Zion's versatility is also a big selling point, as I've mentioned before. While he could theoretically play center, it seems unlikely given the presence of Andre James and Bradley Bozeman. Still, the option is there, and it makes him an even more attractive trade asset. Then there's the New England Patriots. Honestly, this might not be the ideal destination for Zion Johnson, assuming he has any say in the matter. The Patriots are in a tough spot right now, and some might even call it a bit of a rebuild. That said, they're likely to lean heavily on the run game, and someone as strong and capable as Zion could fit into their plans. With Mike Vrabel involved now, they might see Zion as a valuable addition to help bolster their offensive line. The Patriots might consider trying Zion Johnson at center, or even in other positions along the offensive line, given his versatility. Now, let's talk about another potential destination, the Baltimore Ravens. Zion Johnson could fit very well with the Ravens system. Their guards haven't been performing at a high level, and Zion's skill set would align perfectly with what they do on offense. He's already familiar with the kind of schemes they run, considering Greg Roman's history, so the transition could be smooth. However, trading Zion to a team like the Ravens comes with a significant risk. The Chargers could potentially face them in the playoffs, and strengthening a possible rival isn't ideal. This brings us to the broader context of these rumors. While the speculation around Zion Johnson being moved is intriguing, there are factors that make it less likely. For instance, Bradley Bozeman might not even be the starting center this season. With the contract given to Andre James, it seems likely he'll take on that role unless Bozeman completely outshines him during training camp. All of these dynamics create a lot of moving parts, and the ultimate decision will hinge on how things develop in the coming months. Now, depending on what happens in the draft, the Chargers might even select another guard. And let's be clear, just because these players are on the roster now doesn't mean their spots are guaranteed. The Chargers are going to bring in competition, and that keeps everyone on their toes. It's also worth noting that if injuries happen in camp, say a key player on another team goes down 5 weeks before the season with a serious injury like a broken leg, you can bet teams will be making calls to the Chargers for reinforcements. This flexibility and depth allow the Chargers to adapt and make moves that benefit them in the short and long term. It's a competitive advantage, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they play their hand. If a team loses their starting right tackle and needs an immediate replacement, they might turn to someone like Trey Pipkins. The Chargers, however, wouldn't let him go without a significant return. Pipkins is under a sizable contract, and while trading him might make sense financially, potentially saving $9 million, it's not a simple decision. An alternative could involve moving Pipkins to left guard, sliding Andre James to center, and keeping Bradley Bozeman as a backup swing lineman. This lineup would allow Zion Johnson to be traded, which aligns with the speculation, but the situation really depends on how things unfold in the draft and training camp. Teams desperate to fill gaps after injuries or missed draft opportunities might drive trade discussions forward, but the Chargers are in no rush. They hold the leverage here. So, what are your thoughts? If the Chargers trade Pipkins, they free up cap space that could be used in several impactful ways. But is it worth losing a player with his versatility and experience? Share your thoughts in the comment section.